A solemn anniversary today in Honolulu to mark the 80th anniversary of the bombing in Hiroshima. Since 1990, many come to the Izumo Taisha-kyo mission to pay their respects to all of the lives lost when the United States bombed Hiroshima in 1945. During the event, participants are able to ring a replica of a peace bell presented as a gift to Hawaii from the prefectural government. Honolulu and Hiroshima established a sister city relationship after World War II to promote peace and to honor those who perished during the war. Now, today is the 80th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima. Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi is in Japan for remembrance events. He was among representatives from 120 countries and regions, along with the remaining bombing survivors at this somber event at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. An art installation in Waikiki will also commemorate the Hiroshima bombing. It's called the Renkan Project, curated by Naomi Noi Tanigawa. The free outdoor film projection of Lotus Body Hiroshima will take place at the Waikiki Natatorium tonight. It's at 7 p.m. this evening. There will also be live performances by Buto Master Hiroko Tamano and Taiko Master Kenny Endo. An important announcement today coming out of the University of Hawaii at Manoa's John A. Burns School of Medicine. Governor Josh Green and Hawaii's congressional delegation, along with UH dignitaries, were on hand at the UH Cancer Center's Sullivan Conference Center. This as research findings on a number of health challenges across the state were unveiled to include ways to address cancer disparities to mental health recovery after the Maui wildfires.
Here at the Cancer Center, we conduct research, and of course we conduct research, that's what we do, but we run clinical trials and we provide community outreach. It's not just about research, but reaching out beyond what we do here and offer patient treatment and support. Everything we do here is about saving lives in Hawaii and the Pacific.
Now, during today's announcement, the lawmakers were also able to see the yet-to-be-completed Ho'ola Early Phase Clinical Cancer Research Center, the Robert Mann Bone Lab, and the Albert To Tropical Medicine Lab Research Wing. Now, 2 years after the Maui wildfires, poverty rates have nearly doubled, with almost 1 in 4 households below the poverty line. That's according to the UH Economic Research Survey of 1,000 fire survivors. There is good news, however. The UHERO report says the number of people in precarious housing situations have been out in half since last year, and median rents have started to decrease. But the struggle does continue as full-time employment remains below pre-fire levels, and nearly 60% of households report lower income than before the fires.
On the one hand, we have some fire-affected people who continue to experience serious challenges, including in areas such as displacement, financial uncertainty, unmet needs. But at the same time, others have regained some degree of stability in many aspects of housing, work, and their daily lives.
Going forward, it's likely that we really need to focus more and more on the most disadvantaged and the people who have the hardest time recovering from any kind of a shock, whether it's an illness or a temporary job loss or whatever it is.
Self-reported unmet needs, especially for housing, food, and financial assistance, have also dropped, and fewer people are receiving assistance now compared to a year ago. The full report is posted on hawaiinewsnow.com. Now, since the wildfires, 4 homes have been rebuilt in upcountry Maui, and 10 more are permitted to go up. Mark Ross has hoped to be living in his rebuilt home along with Haleakala Highway by now, but he says progress has been slow. Ross says he has encountered delay after delay. First, there were issues with his septic system, then the permitting process, and most recently, the foundation had to be ripped out and re-poured because of an issue with a construction consultant who has since left the state.
What did you originally think the cost of rebuilding was going to cost? We're talking right after the fire.
Well, right after the fire, we were thinking no more than $1 million. Our insurance had covered us to about $900,000.
What are you at now?
We'll probably be at least 1.2.
And you've got a mortgage and you're still paying rent 2 years later.
Yes.
Now, Ross did report that construction consultant to the state. Now, strands of new lei are now being draped across the line of memorial crosses honoring the 102 Maui wildfires victims. 60 representatives from the state's disaster case management program dropped off the flowers on Monday along the Lahaina bypass. Since 2023, the FEMA-funded program has connected nearly 7,000 fire survivors with nonprofits to assist in recovery. Officials estimate services received have an estimated value of about $140 million.
We have a holistic recovery wheel, so it's helping someone with childcare, transportation, employment, housing obviously is the #1 unmet need and has been from the beginning, as well as mental health, medical services, and basically utilizing those resources, helping them with applications, getting them into different housing solutions. Right now our team's goal is to work on permanent housing plans with clients to get them out of FEMA direct lease or state housing solutions and into something more permanent.
Now, right now, about 4,000 survivors are receiving assistance. To learn more about the program, you can call 211. Our coverage of Maui's road to recovery continues this week. Make sure to tune in to Hawaii News Now on air and online for the latest this week as we remember the 2-year anniversary of the Maui wildfires disaster. Now turning into national news, we're learning more about the details around Ghislaine Maxwell's interview with the Department of Justice. CBS News has confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator did not say anything in the interview that would implicate President Trump. Now, Lee Brand has the latest from Washington, D.C.
One of the women who says she was victimized by Jeffrey Epstein appeared alongside her attorney Gloria Allred this afternoon in Los Angeles.
When I see it on the news every day, Jeffrey's in my brain and I see him again and again and I remember what he did to me in that hotel room. And I feel pain in my heart for myself and all for the other victims.
CBS Mornings also spoke to the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, who became one of the most vocal Epstein accusers. They're questioning the treatment of co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell serving a prison sentence for sex trafficking.
She wasn't a victim like the narrative is trying to change right now. She was an active participant in the abuse.
Why are we listening to a known perjurer? I mean, I think if anybody needs to be heard, it's the survivors.
In Maxwell's roughly 9-hour interview last month with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, a source tells CBS News that she did not say anything that would harm or implicate President Trump.
The interview of Ghislaine Maxwell by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche should be released.
President Trump told reporters he doesn't know what was discussed, but indicated he has complete confidence in the Deputy Attorney General, who previously served as his personal attorney.
I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
Maxwell, who is appealing her case and seeking clemency, is also arguing against the Justice Department's request to unseal grand jury testimony in the case. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And back here in the islands, 2 children and a hiker stranded overnight on Kauai's Kalalau Trail were airlifted to safety on Monday morning. KFD received a distress call Sunday night after the 52-year-old from California injured his ankle, but crews were unable to respond due to darkness. The hiker refused medical treatment after evaluation from AMR. Now a live look at Kilauea, which awakened this morning. You can see multiple vents spewing lava there, which is now filling the Halima'uma'u crater floor. It started at about 1:20 this morning with fountains hitting heights of about 300 feet. This is the 30th episode of the ongoing eruption, which started back in December.
I can't believe we're already at episode 30 of the eruption at Kilauea. Let's take a look at our hour-by-hour forecast. I'm going to take note, especially of the winds out there. We've got weaker winds over the next couple of days because of the remnants of what was Tropical Cyclone Gil to our north. Out there, we've got east-northeasterlies around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Temperatures around 79 degrees by the time we get to around midnight tonight. There's the remnants of the storm. We're also tracking another system that's going to move in over the weekend, also to the north of the island chain. There's right there, you can see that's Tropical Storm storm Henriette. It's going to move north of the island chain and cause weaker winds. Again, here it is out in the satellite. It is out there in the East Pacific. It's a tropical storm right now. I'll give you a closer look at the track coming up.
And coming up, a growing concern about gang violence behind the bars of Hawaii's prisons following the death of a detainee. We'll have details on that. Plus, a suspect is in custody following a shooting today at Fort Stewart, Georgia. We'll have the latest on that incident coming up right after the break. The death of a detainee at Oahu's largest jail is raising concerns about gangs and the power they wield behind bars. Christopher Vaifaga died in 2023 after he was allegedly beaten unconscious at OCCC by members of the gang Murder Incorporated. He was not found by guards for over 5 hours. The suspects are on trial for manslaughter. Vaifaga's cellmate says he was afraid to call for help because the gang leaders would likely retaliate.
It's basically an unwritten rule there at OCCC that you don't go to the ACOs for anything. You don't go to them for help. If you do, you're not going to get it. If you go to them for help, you're basically going to call attention to yourself and bring negative attention. So you might risk getting beaten yourself.
The Corrections Department says it will not comment on ongoing investigations. If convicted, the 3 defendants could get 20 years, but 2 of them are already serving life sentences for other killings. A Maui man accused of killing a close friend will be going to prison, but not for murder. Juries convicted Mike Farisian of the lesser charge of reckless manslaughter yesterday. The 52-year-old was arrested 3 years ago for the killing of Stephen Holm in Haiku. Farisian's court-appointed lawyers had argued he was innocent by reason of insanity. Jurors ultimately agreed to acquit him of the most serious charge. However, he still faces up to 20 years behind bars when he is sentenced for manslaughter in October. Hawaii Island fentanyl dealer Paul Alyssa is heading to prison for 10 years. The 42-year-old was sentenced after pleading guilty to an attempted distribution charge. Officers arrested Alyssa last year after finding half a gram in a car he was driving. Authorities say that's enough to kill about 25 people. A bill that would force the Honolulu Police Department to allow media access to police scanners goes before the Honolulu City Council today. Several television executives testified in support of the measure before the Public Safety Committee last month, saying delayed and incomplete updates from Honolulu police make it harder to keep the public safe. Interim Chief Rade Vanek opposes the bill, saying it would interfere with police operations and violates privacy. This will be the bill's second reading. 3 are required before a bill passes. A 28-year-old soldier was taken into custody after 5 other soldiers were shot Wednesday at Fort Stewart in Georgia. Army officials say the victims are in stable condition and expected to recover. David Malkoff reports from Atlanta.
Law enforcement responded to reports of a shooting in Fort Stewart's 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area just before 11 on Wednesday morning. The suspect is a male U.S. Army sergeant.
We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team.
Moments later, the fort was locked down. An Army official tells CBS News the suspect was apprehended by the Army Criminal Investigative Division.
Sergeant Radford has not previously deployed to combat. Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision.
In the aftermath, officials posted on social media that there is no active threat to the community. The wounded soldiers were treated on site and taken to an Army hospital. Some were also taken to Memorial Health University Medical Center in Savannah. That's according to a spokesperson for the facility. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt wrote on social media that President Trump was briefed on the shooting and the White House is monitoring the situation. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth were also briefed. Fort Stewart is the largest Army post east of the Mississippi River. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Atlanta.
And coming up, some Oahu residents say they've been woken up by fighter jets more frequently lately, with the loud training starting at 3 a.m.
And stick around, your first alert full forecast coming up after the break. We're seeing some showers over Oahu and also seeing the remnants of what was Tropical Storm Gil off to our northeast. The details coming up.
First Alert weather with Drew Davis.
All right, well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's break down our First Alert weather headlines. Of course, we're tracking lighter trade winds today. They'll get a little bit stronger over the next couple of days, all because of the remnants of what was Tropical Storm Gil out in the eastern Pacific. It is falling apart and passing to our north. Out there, we've also got Henriette also passing to our north as we get into the weekend. A quick look at our First Alert radar and satellite. You can see not much going on out there. A few sprinkles over Oahu. These lighter winds have allowed some pop-up showers over leeward areas, also seeing some moisture along the Ko'olau. But I want to zoom you out up to where we're seeing the center of what was Tropical Storm Gale. There's the center of the system. You can kind of see in the satellite loop it rotating counterclockwise. Again, this is messing up our wind pattern ever so slightly. You can actually see our winds outside right now. We've got northerly winds in Kaunakakai, Wahiawa out of the northwest around 8 miles per hour. Lanai City actually seeing Kona winds out of the south. A similar story in town right now, around 8 miles per hour out of the southwest. This is going to get a little bit more trade wind-like as we're going forward. You can see in our first alert windcast, this is Thursday around 3 a.m. A little bit more easterly flow compared to what we're seeing right now. Somewhat breezy each afternoon between 15 to 20 miles per hour as the remnants continue to pass to our north and northwest. We also have Tropical Storm Henriette out in the eastern Pacific. Here's just a quick look at the satellite imagery. It doesn't look very impressive. It's going to stay at tropical storm strength and continue to pass to the north of the island chain. By the time we get to Sunday, it's still around 60 mile per hour wind strength, 8 a.m. on Sunday, and then a little bit further north by the time we get into Monday. Right now, it's about 1,500 miles east of Hilo, Hawaii. A quick look at our surf and shoreline forecast. North-facing shores around 2 to 4 feet. West-facing shores dropping. A south swell is due tonight, and still seeing some swell from that tropical system out on east-facing shores. This, of course, is for this afternoon. Here's our island-by-island forecast. We're going to run through this really quickly for Thursday. Kauai's got isolated showers, mostly sunny conditions on Oahu, mostly sunny, 90 degrees in Kapolei and in town tomorrow. A little bit cooler over in Kaneohe, 87 in Kaunakakai, partly cloudy over Maui County, 91 in Kahului. Moving over to Hawaii Island, 88, Kailua Kona, sunny southwesterly winds expected over there. Easterly winds will become more dominant in the evening over near Hilo, and the northern portions of Hawaii Island seeing, of course, gusty conditions out there. Here's our 7-day forecast. Mahalo to Mark for sending that in. A few showers possible today like we're seeing right now. More sunny conditions and breezier trades heading into the weekend.
Much mahalo, Drew. Now to a rude awakening that I experienced along with some Oahu residents. Fighter jets were heard roaring through the sky early Monday and Tuesday morning. Kalihi resident Brooke Parker has lived at the same apartment complex for 15 years, and he says he's used to hearing aircraft noises. But this time it was different as the loud rumble got louder and louder for a few minutes, and that was at around 3 in the morning.
You're thinking we're getting invaded by the Russians or the Chinese acting up, but you know, the sirens would go off, but there was a couple of jets that took off, maybe 2 or 3 this morning.
The Air Force does confirm several fighter jets did take off from Hickam, and that is in support of a department-level exercise, saying the training operations are necessary. And there's a new commander overseeing operations at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam this morning. Rear Admiral Brad Collins took charge during a change of command ceremony yesterday. Rear Admiral Stephen Barnett relinquished command after overseeing the joint base for more than 3 years and spearheading the decommissioning of the Red Hill Bunk Fuel Storage Facility. He now reports to Norfolk, Virginia to assume command of Navy Region Mid-Atlantic. Beloved Cocoa Puffs and Butteros are coming to Waikiki Beach Walk. Liliha Bakery is planning to open its 6th location there, hoping to open in June of 2026. The diner will take over the former Bluefish restaurant. That's also where the Cheeseburger in Paradise was, on the 2nd floor of the shopping complex on Lure Street between Kalakaua Avenue and Kalia Road. On Oahu, a new baby monk seal just got her Hawaiian name. Meet Nalani. Keiki campers from Camp Erdman gifted her the name, which means the heavens or the sky, to reflect the clear blue skies over Ka'ena Point. The pup was born to Mama Luana on the North Shore. Wildlife experts say Nalani has been moving confidently across the sand and is becoming more independent with each day. As a reminder, if you see a monk seal, keep your distance. That's at least 50 feet away and 150 feet from mothers with pups. Now past the ketchup smoothie, please. Is this the latest fruity drink trend happening in America these days? We'll find out what that's all about in 2 minutes. All right, happy meals aren't for everyone. Wendy's is collaborating with the next Netflix series Wednesday to serve up meals of misfortune. The limited time meal of misfortune comes with the dips of dread, along with rest in 10-piece nuggets, cursed and crispy fries, and a Raven's Blood Frosty, all served in a custom packaging. The meal of misfortune is available at participating Wendy's restaurants.
I'm very curious about what the dip tastes like.
Yes.
And here's something new and maybe refreshing for summer. Smoothie King and Kraft Heinz are partnering to introduce a ketchup smoothie. With the question, if tomatoes are a fruit, is ketchup a smoothie? The ketchup smoothie is available now. It launched Wednesday on August 8th at Smoothie King locations nationwide. The Heinz tomato ketchup smoothie will be available starting August 6th for $5.70 at select Smoothie King locations nationwide while supplies last. And I'm going to be honest, Jonathan, I don't think I'm going to try this one. I feel like that would be a very weird flavor.
Okay.
Would you give it a try?
I would put it on my Spam maybe.
Yeah.
How's that? Ketchup smoothie on Spam.
When it's cold and like, I imagine they added a little bit of sugar into it. It might be a weird flavor.
You got to try something once, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always feel like we get these weird stories about weird flavors, like weird ice creams.
Hey, here's one of them.
Most of them, I'm not going to try.
All right, we'll take you up on that.
Here's a live look outside. Make sure you have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. More news coming up at 4 p.m.